Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome to another live edition of the Sewing Report. I'm Jennifer Moore, your host, helping you discover your love of sewing. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, also welcome. And if you enjoy sewing and making things, feel free to subscribe to this channel. And I'm so glad you guys are here this week. It is Super Bowl Sunday, if you're here in the States. I'm not going to be watching the Super Bowl, but we do have an exciting hour. We're going to be talking all about fast fashion versus slow fashion. I've got a couple other things I want to chat about. And for the first time, I am excited to announce this live show is sponsored, which is exciting, and I will share why with you a little bit later. But it's a little chaotic, my background here. But you know, I feel like creativity needs to know no bounds, and I'm working on some things, and it's a little hard to put away. But I am feeling better, so thank you. I know when you last saw me, I was like on the verge of passing out, but I am here. Hello, everybody. So, if you're new here, every Sunday we get together and we talk about a topic. Sometimes I pick them, sometimes you guys suggest them. And this week we're going to be talking all about fast fashion, and I also want to share some of my own thoughts. There were a couple of videos I saw this week that were very interesting that I wanted to share. But first, I want to share the results of last week's poll with you. So last Sunday I asked, do you prefer vintage or modern sewing machines? And the answer, I was not super surprised. About half of you said you enjoy both vintage and modern sewing machines. 41% said you prefer modern sewing machines, and 10% said vintage. So, and I think that's where a lot of us are, there are good things about both. So very interesting, and make sure, if you're here, there is a poll question this week you can take. Up in your right-hand corner of your screen, you'll see an eye. Click on it, and you'll see some other recommended videos and a poll question. And this week's poll question is, do you buy fast fashion clothing items? And I'll be honest with you, while I haven't bought clothing in a while, in fact, I'm actually wearing a fast fashion t-shirt right now. So I think it's something like, I don't think you should beat yourselves up if you own some stuff from Target or some stuff from Forever 21. But last year I made a conscious decision not to buy clothing anymore. It's something I'm becoming more and more passionate about. But at the same time, I also want to share that, we're all human, and, we can only take it one day at a time. You can't do this all at once. And, I feel like there's this whole thing, like, the minimalist movement and, being environmentally friendly and, sustainable fashion. But at the same time, living in in 2018, it's a little hard to get away from mass-produced items, let's be honest. Chances are we have tons of stuff in our houses made in China, made in overseas, made who knows where. But anyways, I hope everyone's doing well. And I will not be watching the Super Bowl. I have not watched a Super Bowl in several years, and I might be married to one of the only guys in America who's not into football. So we don't really watch the Super Bowl. Sometimes I'll watch the commercials later or something, but I don't know. It's just not our thing. If you're into football, if you're an Eagles or a Patriots fan, I wish you all the best. I know everyone seems to be rooting for the Eagles because the Patriots have won like way too many Super Bowls in a lot of popular opinion. But I don't know. Anyways, welcome everyone. I will throw up the chat window now. So yeah, I like to throw this up so we can see your comments as well, because this is a discussion. It's not like a one-way thing. All right, Pencils Pancakes has a good question. Is buying any ready-to-wear considered fast fashion, or is it just the cheap brands? I think that's a good question. What defines fast fashion and what defines, higher quality fashion? And even, I will say this, I've even seen a lot of nicer, I'm not buying Chanel or anything, but even if you go to like Banana Republic or, like brands from Saks or something, you still see labels where it's made overseas. So I've kind of stopped buying all ready to wear again, but at the same time, I'm not going to stop wearing the stuff I already own. It's kind of already a sunk cost. The stuff is already made. I've decided at this point just not to really buy anything new. So, that's where I'm at. Okay, so we got a couple comments. Marie says, it's Super Bowl Sunday here in Ireland. Half the country is staying up late to watch it. Wow, and the Super Bowl's on kind of late here. Like, it usually ends like what, like 11:30 or something? I don't know. That's kind of crazy. And yeah, so yeah, we're going to dive into that. And yeah, so, oh, and the other interesting thing I've seen on lots of talk on Facebook about this, a lot of people seem more excited about the fact that the show This Is Us is going to be on after the Super Bowl. So I've seen almost more talk about what happens to this guy Jack on the show almost than Super Bowl talk. You know, apparently it involves a crock pot and like a fire. I've personally never seen This Is Us. I've heard good things about it. It's just not a show I've watched so far. So if you are a fan, you know, I've heard the news and I'm sorry. I know a lot of people seem very upset about it. So, but yeah. But anyways, yeah, so it is Super Bowl Sunday. I will probably be doing some crafting. I know I mentioned a couple weeks ago I bought that I was interested in dollhouses. I bought like a little set. So I'm actually in the process of making that. And I'm going to do a little video. I'm going to do a video about the whole process. And yes. So, yeah, and I'm excited. I know I got a lot of great feedback about the sewing chat I did with Lisa and Marita. And we talked quite a bit about fast fashion and sustainable fashion. So if you're interested in checking that out, it's one of the last videos that I uploaded. It was a very interesting conversation, and I really wanted to have Lisa on because I really like her thoughts about everything. And yeah, but I think that's one thing that the power we have through sewing is to make our own things. I like the control we have over what we're making, you know, what kind of garments we have, what kind of materials, you know, we know where this stuff is coming from. And, you know, Lisa pointed out, you know, a lot of the clothing that we're buying in stores, you know, we don't really know like what the factory was like it came from. You know, we know what country it came from, but you don't know what kind of conditions the workers have, how much they're getting paid, you know, like do they use eco-friendly technology and processes in making the clothes or using dyes. So if you are passionate about environmental issues and also about, you know, things like human labor rights, I think it's hard. It's funny that people are so, you know, passionate about where our food comes from and all that, but a lot of people almost kind of tend to turn a blind eye towards fashion, which is kind of interesting. So a lot of interesting stuff. So S. Douglas says, I try not to buy stuff made in Bangladesh or Pakistan because of the dreadful fires they've had at their sewing factories. And so yeah, the reason, actually, yeah, Zoe, actually, I linked this below. So there were a couple stories I saw this week from CBC and it's the Canadian like Broadcasting Corporation or whatnot. And they did a few really good stories, and I've posted links to them in the description box about textile waste, about how it's a huge environmental problem. I know I've seen a few documentaries and shows about this already, but I think it's always good to have more. So this reporter did, you know, she kind of laid out, like, I know it feels good to donate your clothes to Goodwill and, you think it's going someplace, but she pointed out that she found that a lot of the clothing we donate ends up in landfills. So we think we're doing something good, but there's so much textile waste, even like third world countries don't want this stuff. I think another thing to keep in mind is that synthetic fabrics like polyester, or nylon, they're not biodegradable. So they're not eco-friendly. They're definitely not eco-friendly materials. So if you are into saving the environment and things that are good for the planet, getting synthetic materials is actually not environmentally friendly. And I know some people are against using leather. I personally don't have a problem with leather. I'm not a vegetarian. I eat meat. And, but then they go to vegan, there's this whole term about vegan leather, but vegan leather is really pleather, which is made of plastic. So again, something that's not environmentally friendly. So while I think a lot of these people have great intentions, like, hey, we're not hurting animals, they're also contributing to the other problem, which is environmental waste then, because pleather, again, does not break down, so materials like that, they may be cheap to buy, but they're never, like, once they end up in a landfill or wherever else they do, you can't really do much with them. There is a company, let me bring this up, and I forgot to link this below. It's called like ThreadUp, or I think it's called like Thread International or something. But there is a company based in Pittsburgh that I found that makes recycled fabric. So I think that's pretty interesting, and I think that's something to look into. Oh, okay, yeah, I think it's called Thread International. Oh, and they're having a sale right now. So if you're into sales, so this company, they try, like, it's a very eco-friendly company, and they are trying to make fabric that is made of recycled materials. The fabric looks really interesting. Again, I'm on a no fabric kick this year, but I think this is kind of interesting. And the fabric is it's not the cheapest fabric, but I do like what they're doing. So they have a few different substrates like fleece, jersey, performance knit, like canvas denim. And let me look at the jersey. So they have like knit fabrics, and they're all recycled. So like, oh, actually, wow. Okay, actually, these prices are really awesome right now. So I don't know what's going on. Wow, I almost wish I was not on a fabric ban right now, because these prices are really good. So I don't know, maybe they're discontinuing this. I don't know, but it's $4.99 a yard, and this fabric is made of recycled plastic bottles, which is really cool. So it's 50% recycled polyester and then 50% cotton. But what I really like is the width. They're very wide. It's a very wide width. It's 64 inches. So a lot of fabrics are like 44 inches wide or like 50 inches wide or something. But 64 inches wide is a lot of material. So you're getting a lot more bang for your buck because it's wider fabric. Wow, I didn't realize they were having such a good sale. Guys, head over here if you're looking for fabric. I think the colors of these fabrics look really cute. They have like pink fabric. So I think this is pretty... Oh, wow. All right. So this is neat. They have performance jersey. Lightweight fleece, $5.99 a yard. And I know this is a little more expensive than like regular jersey or fleece. But again, this is cool. This is 84% recycled polyester and 16% spandex. So that's actually really good. So this is mostly recycled material. So this is pretty neat. I mean, again, it is... I mean, at least if you are buying synthetic fabrics, at least this is a recycled material and not new. They're not creating new material. And also, I think something else I've seen in some of these documentaries is that a lot of these companies, when they're making, even if they're making cotton material, you know, it consumes a lot of energy, water, resources to make fabric too. So I think that's, like, the more I learn about it, the more interested I am in repurposing things, or, you know, trying to not buy as much, just because, again, it's draining the planet, guys. I'm not like, I wouldn't claim to be the biggest, you know, the biggest environmentalist, you know, ever. But it is something where, you know, I think it's like, if I can do something, I want to try to do a little something. Just, you know, I think every little bit helps. So, but yeah, I think there's a lot of cool ways. And I will point out too, I would say don't beat yourself up if you do buy fast fashion. If you do, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, again, you know, we all have different views and opinions, but don't beat yourself up if you don't buy everything. If not everything you buy is eco-friendly and sustainable, you know, it's just next to impossible, and we're human. And if you don't, so if you're watching this, I would like to encourage you. There are a lot of sustainable fashion companies that you can support. And I think there's a lot, you know, so you don't feel bad if you don't sew either, because chances are there's someone who does sew that does do sustainable clothing items that you can support them. So there's a lot of things you can do to I don't know, I guess help this movement. But I'm on the slow fashion train and I'm loving it. And with that being said, I would like to take a quick break and talk about our sponsorship. So for the first time ever, I've been doing this show for about a year now, maybe a year, almost maybe. And obviously, as you guys know, I quit my job in October to focus on YouTube full time. And it, you know, it has not been easy. And it's, you know, the money aspect is something that I need to think about, the business side. I'm a small creator. I don't have a huge following. And I'm kind of one of the little guys. I'm not the biggest sewing blogger on the block by far. And a while ago, I was approached by this company that wanted to sponsor the show and work with me. And I was really excited. started talking with them. I think they're great people. And, you know, the latest video I did, the DIY lampshade, was a collaboration with this brand. It's called Terial Magic, and it is a spray fabric stabilizer. So I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about it, and also just express how grateful I am that a company like that was so willing and so excited to work with me. Because again, that's really helping me be able to do this. I'm just so excited, and it's been such a great experience working with these folks. So Terial Magic is it's a fabric. So basically, it's a spray bottle. You get a spray bottle, and they have a few different forms. You can get like a gallon. You can get like a 24-ounce bottle. I think an 8-ounce bottle. There's refills. So they reached out. I wasn't really familiar with the product when they approached me, but they explained what it was, and I thought it sounded interesting. So they sent me a bottle to try out, and then I promptly lost it in my move. So I actually ordered another bottle with my own money and bought that, and I actually really like the product. And I do want to say, I as a viewer and as like someone who reads blogs, sometimes I can be a little bit put off by like the whole sponsored post thing. So I do want to be very transparent with you and let you know, when I am working with someone, I want it to be very clear and obvious, because I think that's something I owe to you guys. You guys support this channel and you guys support me, and I'm so grateful. And I also want to only work with companies or promote or highlight products or people that I personally believe in, think are bringing value to this community and have benefit to you. And after using Terial Magic, I have to say I really think this stuff rocks. I'm actually, even after this whole thing ends, I'm actually going to get a couple more bottles because I actually really liked working with it so much. So this stuff, basically, you can use it for a number of applications. And like I know a lot of you guys use like starch, like spray starch, or Mary Ellen's Best Press for starching. This stuff kind of turns your fabric into like more of a paper-like consistency. So it's really great for hard to work with fabrics. I know we've all had those problems, where you're trying to work with like a slinky knit or something that's just not working for you, like the floaty cotton. And it's like, so you have a hard time cutting it out. You have a hard time sewing with it. Your sewing machine eats it all the time. So this product actually helps you work with the fabric. It's a temporary stabilizer. So you use it on machine washable fabrics. You spray it on, and I'll show you some video I shot of the product in action. I'm sorry, all right, so this is Terial Magic. It's really easy to use. You can either like put fabric in a bowl. What I did was I took a trash bag and I spread it out on my craft table so it didn't get everywhere. I'm using a glass container here. You spray it on, you kind of saturate it, then you almost let it like air dry until it's almost dry, and then you just iron it flat. And it really does, so it turns your fabric into like paper, so it doesn't fray on you. It makes it a lot easier to work with, and it's great for a number of applications, like if you're doing like almost like paper, like if you're doing origami. I've used it. I kind of tested out myself because I wanted to see like, do I like this stuff? Is it good? And I will say, out of a 10 out of 10, I would give it like a 9, a solid 9. And I'm being 100%. This is totally my own opinion, and it's really cool stuff. If you're making a t-shirt quilt, it works with knits. If you're if you're quilting and you just really need your fabric to have more stability, it would be good for embroidery. I actually used it in that project with the DIY lampshade to cut shapes out of my Cricut expression. It worked great, and I was a fan. So if you're interested in checking it out, I've linked it below. Terial Magic has kind of launched a new website, and I thought, I'm just so excited and grateful that some company wanted to support a small-time sewing vlogger like me. So if you would like to, if you enjoy this show, you like what I do, definitely consider showing these people some love. They've been wonderful to work with, and I think it's a great company. It was invented by a woman. I believe her name is Terry, and she's got some videos on YouTube showing different ways to use it. You can make paper flowers. But again, for sewing, I think the biggest use for us would be using it to kind of rein in those hard to work with fabrics. As I mentioned a couple weeks ago, I actually used it for a cardigan I was doing. Okay, and how much it is, there are different sizes and different prices. I think I paid about $14 for like a 24-ounce bottle. The stuff lasts for quite a long time, and you can, like, I got a lot of use out of it. I covered a lot of fabric with it. So if you are doing things like a t-shirt fabric or something that you just want your fabric to be a bit more stable and you're having a hard time working with it, this would be great. You know, Jamie, the ingredients, I believe it's kind of a proprietary solution, but it washes out completely. Yes, an Empress Noel, it would be great for sewing voile and cotton lawn. And I've got a couple samples that I worked up that I wanted to show you guys. So there are different prices, and also you may want to look on check them out on the website. It's also available on Amazon. But I was actually pretty impressed by this product, and I think for sewing clothing, I think this stuff would be really good for those fabrics that you just have a tough time working with. So I used it on this like super. As I mentioned, there was a very frustrating sweater knit I bought. It was very lightweight, like tissue thin. So I sprayed. That was actually the first thing I tried it on, and it worked great. So let me show you some samples that I made. So the samples. So again, if you like sewing, I made a shirt using this cotton voile a while ago, and it was kind of a frustrating experience. I will be. I was not loving it at all. Hold on, sorry, I just dropped something. So this is a very, very like lightweight, floaty cotton voile. Sewing a shirt with it was kind of a nightmare. I ended up having to rip a lot of seams. It ended up getting eaten by the sewing machine. So this is the sample that is just, nothing on it. This is the sample with the Terial Magic. So like you can see how much easier it is. So what I'm going to do is when I have a fabric like this that's difficult to work with, I'm actually going to spray Terial Magic on it before I cut out the pattern pieces. And then I will be able to more easily cut out the pieces with my rotary cutter. So that's my game plan. So you can see the sample here. Look, it's pretty firm. It just really changed the consistency of the fabric. Now you can only use this on machine washable fabrics, and probably something that's like more on the cotton side. I did try this on something with some polyester in it, and it did work. But like the more natural fibers in it, I think the better results you'll have. So this is 100% cotton, but look at the difference. Like, look how flimsy this is, and look how firm this is. I think this is the thing that I was like, that's actually pretty cool. So it'll make things a lot easier, because I have trouble cutting out patterns with a fabric like this just because it's, it moves around a lot, it shifts. So you can use this on machine washable fabrics. And I would also recommend don't mix. The company also says don't, a lot of people might try to pour unused solution back into the bottle. Don't do that. It just says make sure not to mix your used and unused solution. So here's another sample I did. This is out of regular quilting cotton. So this is the side that's untreated. So you can see it's just sort of, it's very pliable. This is the side with Terial Magic. Literally, this stuff is like paper. I also use my Cricut. I was testing that on a few things, and I was actually going to try to test out to see if it would print on this. Like, once you treated it, maybe you could use it in the printer if you're making label. Like, I was going to try to do labels with it and print some stuff on it, maybe do quilt labels or something. So this is the side with Terial Magic. Again, very firm, very paper-like, doesn't fray, and it will wash out. So if you want that temporary stabilization, this is the stuff. And the last sample I was actually super impressed by. I tried it with knit fabric. So this is a cotton knit. This is a Robert Kaufman cotton knit. This is the side without Terial Magic. So you can see, again, very flimsy, So if you're making a t-shirt, quilt, or something with knit fabric that you need to act as a woven, this makes your knit fabrics act like a woven, which in a lot of applications might be beneficial. This is the side with Terial Magic. Look, it does not stretch at all. It's very firm. You could even probably embroider onto knit fabric with this. And it does what it says it will. So this is the side without, and you can see how stretchy, like look at. So you can stretch this, but you can't stretch this. So I'm actually really glad I made the samples up because I can definitely see myself using this stuff a lot whenever I'm sewing garments that are just very difficult to work with. But if you guys are interested, there's a link to the Terial Magic website below. Definitely show them some love. They're good people. This is also an American-based company. They're based in Oregon, like Eugene, Oregon. So again, this is not some like big conglomerate. I think the same company also owns a few like smaller brands as well. But this is not like the Walmarts of America. This is a pretty pretty homegrown operation still. So I was actually very excited, and I think the stuff is cool. So I was actually really excited to do this. So they're going to be sponsoring the show for the entire month of February. So I'm going to be talking about them in all the February shows. So hopefully you don't get tired of this. But I will, and I made another cardigan using it. I was able to make a cardigan using it that I wasn't able to finish before just because it was so difficult to sew with. So if you're tired of having like these, if you're tired of having these fabrics that are just difficult to work with, like again, cotton voile, like even like it might work with a chiffon, I'm not sure, but anything that's machine washable and is more natural fibers, I think that would work really well with. I do want to try it more with polyesters just to see how it would act. But anyways, Terial Magic, it's linked below, and show them some love because I was just so blown away that they were willing to work with someone of my level because again, I'm not some big YouTuber. I'm no Jake or Logan Paul, but they were really cool and they've been awesome to work with, very supportive, and they pretty much let me, they're like, what kind of project do you want to do? So I actually came up with the project myself, and I was very excited. But anyways, that's the end of our sponsorship break, but I'm very excited. Show these people some love. And Josie, it does not make fabric stretch. So if you don't want your fabric to stretch, like if you're working with a knit and you want it to act as a woven, this stuff would work for that. So yeah, doing the samples, I thought it was really cool. And even after this ends, I'm totally going to get another bottle just to keep on hand for when I have fabrics that are kind of a nightmare to work with. So that's, I think that's the best application to it. Anyways, back to our regular scheduled programming. Let's keep talking about fast fashion. Ooh, okay. Excuse me. So you guys are chatting about pattern sales, and I did see there was a pattern sale this. I got an email this week about there being a sale on them, so that was pretty cool. But anyways, I'm excited for 2018 because I cannot wait to keep on sewing. I want to try to make it through some of the craftsy classes I bought. But yeah, and I'm really excited that someone actually wanted to sponsor this live show. And felt like we were a valuable community to reach. So I think what we have going on here is really awesome, and I'm really excited about it. So for the month of February, we'll be rocking it here with Terial Magic. Empress Noel, I see she's talking about doing a capsule wardrobe. Very neat, very cool. So, but yeah, I'm very excited. So, and there's something else I want to share with you guys too. This is, I'll actually wait more towards the end though. But I do want to just let you guys know, I just want to offer encouragement, and don't feel frustrated if you do need to buy t-shirts from Target, or if you do buy stuff from Walmart. You're not evil for doing it. You're human. And, we can't all do everything. So I think that's the message I want to spread is, I know like it kind of seems like, wow, I have to do all of this stuff to save the planet, or, to make sure people are getting good working conditions. We can do what we can do. So I would say do what's practical for you, do what's in your heart, and, don't feel bad about, things you have in your closet that might be from Forever 21. I've got stuff in my closet from Forever 21. I've got a lot of stuff probably in my house here that's made in China or made somewhere else. So, you are not the most evil person in the world for shopping at a store or buying something from a big box store. But welcome, guys, to the show. If you're just joining us, we're talking about fast fashion versus slow fashion. And I think that's one thing that's one of the big reasons I'm so proud of having sewing knowledge, is the ability to make my own things, call my own shots, and not have to frequent those stores. I feel like sewing just gives me more choices about what I'm doing. But welcome everyone who's here. I see there's a lot of great comments this week, and I'm very excited. Okay, Sherry says there's a book that people who sew are using called The Curated Closet. And yeah, I think we could all use a little, I definitely could use a little paring down in the wardrobe department in a more intentional wardrobe. Even when I'm sewing, sometimes the stuff I'm making doesn't always make sense or go together. And I could probably do a better job of having, pieces that more make sense together. So, yes, and yes. So, all right, I see Marie is talking about sewing with knits. Yes, using a ballpoint needle will help, because sometimes if you're using a regular needle, it could actually tear your knit fabric, but a ballpoint needle will kind of slip in between. So when I'm doing sewing, I will sometimes use a ballpoint needle with my knit fabric. Yeah, Sherry, good. How many have a closet full of clothes and yet still have nothing to wear? Oh yeah, I hear you. Well, and the funny thing is, now that I'm no longer going to an office every day, I find I'm wearing the same 2 to 3 things every single day. My wardrobe is a t-shirt like this, and then, I'm not joking, Hello Kitty pajama pants that I got from Walmart a few years ago. I've been wearing those so much, I feel like they're gonna fall apart. I did up until recently, and I do wish I'd saved these, but I threw them out. I know. I had a pair of sweatpants from Old Navy, and for some reason, I don't know why, but the clothes I bought from Old Navy between 2004 and 2007, they've lasted forever. I had this pair of sweatpants from Old Navy for 12 years, and I wore them probably 3 to 4 times a week and washed them probably twice a week, and those things just lasted forever. It was like a cotton terry cloth. I wore them to paint. So they had a bunch of paint splotches all over them. I wore them to Mexico. A few years ago, I went to Mexico, and we did it was like a missions trip. So it was not a cushy vacation. It was more you're hiking every day kind of vacation. You're sleeping in the woods sort of thing. So I only brought 3 outfits, and the sweatpants were one of them. And those sweatpants were, those things just were real, they wore like iron. So for some reason, those Old Navy clothes just lasted forever. I'm not really sure why. But I had a t-shirt from Old Navy too, and that thing also, the material on it just washed super well. All right, we got a few comments. Josie, I would really like to learn to make staples items like t-shirts and jeans, because that makes up most of my wardrobe. I hear you. I'm definitely a t-shirt and sweatpants kind of gal. So I feel where you're coming from. Empress Noel, I'm committed to making a summer wardrobe this year. Oh, that sounds like fun. It's so hot in Vegas in the summer, and so much ready-made is, polyester, rayon. Yeah, going all cotton will definitely help you cool off. And that's the thing, I noticed a lot of athletic gear with polyester in it, but polyester, again, is will make you hot. So I don't know. Who knows? Is Microtex okay for knits? I bought both last night because I wasn't sure. That's a good question. Offhand, I can't remember. I know I bought some Microtex needles, but I think I more bought them for, I bought Microtex needles to work with really stretchy, slinky fabric, because I bought that swimsuit class from Craftsy, and she recommended Microtex needles for real stretchy fabrics. So I did that. Okay, Doherty recommends linen for hot weather. That's a good one. S. Douglas, as far as I know, there are rich ladies and European royal ladies who wear their clothes for decades. So do we need to copy their pattern and make high quality clothes only? I think that's a personal choice. Some people enjoy sewing. They like to make more like fast fashion type items. Some people enjoy making couture items. I think it's up to you and what your sewing level is, what you feel comfortable with, and what you want to make. But there are some people making some really, couture type items, and there are other people like they just want to make casual stuff. So I think that's pretty cool. All right, Jamie is in Tucson. Oh yes, you guys know what the hot weather is like. All right, garments cut on the bias usually do not last. I can say that because they do stretch out. They do tend to stretch more. So that does make sense. Okay, so I do want to share something I found with you guys that I shared this on Facebook, and I was just very, very impressed. Let me see if I can find, okay. So I found this girl, I saw this video going around on YouTube, and I just think this girl is incredible. So this is a girl, she's 9 years old, and her name is Charlotte. She has a business called Stitches by Charlotte. And her story is that she was born with a cleft in lip palate problem. So she had a few surgeries when she was a kid. She started sewing a couple years ago when her grandmother bought her a sewing machine. And she started making surgery companion dolls for other kids. But the cool thing is she makes, a lot of kids, might feel self-conscious about, how the way they look or whatnot. So she actually she makes dolls that will look like the kids who are having surgeries, and she will also include thread and a needle. So if a kid's having a surgery, the doctor or a nurse or a parent could explain what will happen by kind of demonstrating it on the doll or giving the doll stitches or making the doll look more like the child, which I think is amazing. This little girl is just incredible. That's her little sewing room. She has an Indiegogo fund, and she's trying to really expand her line of dolls and make it a legit business. Also, she donates proceeds to Cleft and Lift Palette charity. Charlotte, I'm just so impressed by you. You're so freaking adorable, and I love the story. So she has raised $43,000 on Indiegogo. You can actually still get some of the rewards. If you're interested, I've linked her Indiegogo page below. She's got a sewing kit. She reached her goal, and she won this contest. So she did this Indiegogo as part of a contest through Jif, the peanut butter company, called Imagine If with Jif, and it was kids with big ideas that have a positive impact. And Charlotte won. So not only did she raise the $3,000, but she also got a $30,000 prize from Jif to develop her idea more. I just think this young lady is such a great example of why we should encourage young people to sew. I mean, look at this girl. She has done more things than a lot of 50-year-olds haven't done, and she's 9. So she wants to become a fashion designer and learn how to make clothes, too. She lives in Arizona. I just thought this was an incredible kid entrepreneur, and she's also a philanthropist. But what a cool story. So I just wanted to share this with you. If you want to check out her page, I've linked her Indiegogo. I just saw this and I just fell in love with this kid right away. So what a cool thing to do, to take your love of sewing and use it to help people that are in that sort of situation. But yeah, so I think it's very cool. All right, we'll go to some more comments. Okay, let's see here. And Maria and Estelle goes, who are these wealthy people you know? I don't know a lot of people that do that, but again, I'm not really in the upper crust crowd. All the wealthier people I know buy really expensive clothing, usually made by local seamstresses, and have had capsule wardrobes before the term was coined. Few clothes but last forever. I'm assuming forever. Very neat. And I guess, again, I like that these people are at least supporting their local seamstresses or tailors. That's cool. And that's another thing. If you do have that kind of money, why buy stuff from a store when you can get someone to make something custom for you? I think that's pretty neat. All right, and got a couple more comments. Estelle goes, I'm bothered by the landfills filling up with their unwanted textiles. Yes. And again, that's why I think we need to talk about these issues, and we also need to spread the word, because I think a lot of people that don't sew or aren't aware of these issues, they don't know, but I think the more you know, the better. I've also linked below a couple of years ago, John Oliver from Last Week Tonight. He's that British guy that is the HBO show. He did a very interesting segment about fast fashion that's in the same vein. And I was just so cool. I was so happy to see that someone of that level was also spreading the same message. I thought that was really neat. All right, Valerie, I saw on my Fitness Pal had an interesting article on exercising clothes are harming the earth. I can, again, it's because it's all these all these synthetic fibers. Again, it's not natural stuff. It's not cotton. It's polyester, nylon, spandex, all stuff that doesn't ever biodegrade. All right, Sherry, it's not about couture, but more about having durable pieces in your closet, like a good cashmere or wool cardigan for those cold weather months. And yes, Charlotte does totally rock. If you're here, definitely check out Charlotte's Indiegogo. Read more about her. I was actually thinking about trying to reach out to her mom and seeing if maybe Charlotte would want to be on the Sewing Report. We'll see. I might do that. I was reading more about her, and I would love to do anything I can to support her mission. But, yeah, so we're having a good time here. All right, let's see here. Empress Noel, awesome young lady. Yes. It's why I wear natural fabrics. Polyester is just like disposable diapers and styrofoam cups. Yes. And Lisa Emerita, who we had on the show earlier this week, she in one of her videos had mentioned, she's like, whenever you're wearing polyester, think of it like wearing a plastic trash bag, because that's basically what you're doing. Kita sews, now that I sew, I notice that many ready-to-wear garments are not constructed very well and not made to last. Yes, I have noticed that as well, with the exception of those Old Navy clothes. For whatever reason, those items I got from Old Navy 10 years ago, would not die. But that was and the other store that I think I have had good luck with things lasting, when I was younger, I used to shop more at Abercrombie Kids. I know. I fit into the clothes, and you got the same quality, but it was you got the same kind of clothes. It was just cheaper to shop at the kids section. And the stuff I have from Abercrombie and Abercrombie Kids, 10, 12 years ago, lasted forever. I've noticed the quality of Abercrombie & Fitch really went down the toilet. Now the stuff looks like it's lost a battle with the washing machine. But back when Abercrombie was more into that preppy look, I had a lot of really cute stuff from that store, and the quality was pretty good. I had a few pairs of shorts and pants from Abercrombie, and they washed really well. They lasted. Actually, I still have a pair of Abercrombie shorts. But again, I was shopping there in the early 2000s. Now, when you go there, you're wow, that stuff looks so cheap. But back when I was in high school, Abercrombie was where all the cool kids shopped. And the quality was actually, I think, better back then. I get a couple more comments. I'm bothered by dry cleaning costs. However, I need to sew more cottons as I don't mind ironing some. I actually don't mind ironing as well. I've been ironing a lot of my husband's shirts. And, I don't mind it. You kind of watch something, you put something on to watch and iron away. Makes the time go faster. Sherry, there's also thrifty finds that you can refashion and do to your wardrobe. Yes, and I would like to do some refashioning and repurposing this year, so hopefully I'll be able to do a few projects for the channel on here. That would be really cool. I need to kind of figure that out. I definitely want to try to hit up my thrift store a few times, because I haven't really been there a while. Oh, Empress Noel, you bought the Overdressed book. That's really cool. All right, Valerie, being a seamstress, I really despise doing alterations on cheap. I know, it's you're buying a $9 dress and then paying someone $20 to alter it. It makes, yeah, I hear you there. It's if you're going to pay for something to be altered, have it be a good quality item. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Okay, good tip from Noelle. If you wash your cottons and hang to dry, a quick spritz and tug, no iron needed. Yes, and I will confess, I have not been able to really make my husband's clothes yet. I did buy a pattern for a men's shirt. I haven't gotten around to it yet. So we still do need to buy my husband's clothes at stores, and he does need to dress professionally. So we do buy his. So, and again, that's just goes to show, you can't. it's very hard for you to do this sustainable living thing 100%. It's just hard in 2018. Let's get real here. Most people are not doing it like even 80 or 70%. You do what you can, but give yourself some grace if you can't do it all. Just because it's just very difficult. But, so we buy most of my husband's clothes from, he really likes Calvin Klein. So most of his clothes are like from the Calvin Klein sales section. And again, it's not something I'm super proud of, but I'm not at the level yet where I could make men's clothing that would be like acceptable for him to wear to work. He has to look professional. And I just, at this point, I wish I would like to learn how to make men's clothing. I think that would be really, really neat. So we'll have to see. That's something that's definitely in my like list of things I want to learn to sew. So yeah, so that's where we are this week. This is a good conversation. If you guys have a suggestion for next week, I'm not really sure what we'll do the show on. I just thought this would, after seeing those CBC videos, I was like, this is something that would be cool to talk about. All right, and Noelle says, homemade Downy wrinkle release all the way. I haven't really tried that stuff, and I don't have a clothesline because we're in like a very small place right now with like no yard. So I think that'd be interesting. All right, and Doherty has a good suggestion. I charge a huge amount of money for changing a zipper in a cheap jacket, so people decide to not have it done. That's a good one. So yeah. Oh, and let's see here. I forgot. Oh, so yesterday. Excuse me. I'm still like a little bit. I feel better this week, but I'm having a lot of trouble with my throat and the coughing still. So I still just keep coughing up like a lot of coughing up a lung here. But yesterday I went to a birthday party for a 1-year-old. I haven't been to a kid's birthday party in forever. And I gotta say, I had a total blast. It was so much fun. It was like one of the coolest kids' parties I'd been to. And I did tape a little bit of a video because I made the birthday girl a dress. So that will be in a future video. Also this week, coming up this week on the Sewing Report, we are going to be talking to Jacqueline Sava and a woman named Karen Valino, and they have written a book called Handmade Getaway. It's basically kind of a guidebook about how to make sewing kind of a social event, and they had a lot of great things to say. So that's something that I'll be posting this week. I'm just really excited about what's coming up and what I've got in the works. All right, one subject is to ask viewers if they get help from fashion magazines or from runway shows, like sort of like a fashion inspiration thing. All right. Alex, is it cheaper to buy the fabric than the item already made? Alex, I would say it depends on the quality of the item. Sometimes it is cheaper to buy a $5 t-shirt than fabric to make a t-shirt. But the way I like to think about it is it's a lot cheaper than buying expensive couture. So if you can learn to sew clothing pretty well, it will be like you're getting a higher end wardrobe on the cheap. But I would say sewing is, in a lot of situations, is probably more expensive than fast fashion, which is sad. And that's why a lot of people buy fast fashion, is because it's so cheap. But the way I like to think about it is that somebody's paying the price of that $5 t-shirt. It just might not be you. It might be the person who might be being exploited overseas, or, might be taken out on the planet in the form of, harming the environment. Who knows? So it's one of those things where it really depends on the item and the quality, and also what type of fabric you're buying. You can buy super cheap fabric, but I know a lot of the people that like to sew, if you're going to spend all that time and energy doing it, you want to use fabric that's a good quality. So I do like to sew at least with fabrics that I like the quality of. I've gotten fabrics that the quality was so, and I was not, again, you're spending a lot of time making it, so you do want it to last for a while and be something that you're proud of and something that you like the quality of. So I think it really depends on the item. All right, Doherty, I'm taking part in 2 social events, one in 2 weeks and one in April. First time for me. Yay, very cool. And Marie, thank you. I also really enjoyed the sewing chat as well. So I'm excited to talk to the ladies behind Handmade Getaway. And also tomorrow, I'm going to be taping another sewing chat with a friend of mine named Denise Wild. I think she's amazing, and I think you'll really enjoy hearing more about her sewing journey and getting tips from her. She's awesome. So I'm trying to look for some more people to talk to. I would, like, after watching this girl, Charlotte, from Stitches by Charlotte, I really want to try to reach out to them and see if maybe they would entertain the idea of being on the show. So we'll see. Marie, that's good. Let's see. How about tasks we love the most and loathe the most when sewing? Like, I love changing overlock or threads. I'm weird like that. But you test ironing and ironing on interfacing. Yeah. And S. Douglas, there are quilters who only use new cloth because of the quality. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you know, if you want to, you can make something out of anything you want. You know, it just kind of depends on, like, you know, what you want to do with it. How good do you want this item to be? How much time do you want to spend on it? All right, Noelle, you found clearance sheets at Walmart. Yay! And I actually have some sheets in my own arsenal that I still need to do something with. I've pre-washed them. I just haven't made anything with it. Have you bought... You know, I have not tried Girl Charlie yet. Again, and unfortunately, I won't be buying any... I did the whole not buying fabric this year. So I probably wouldn't be the best person to ask, but maybe in 2019 I will try them out. I'm really trying to stick to this no buying fabric thing. Just because the more I go through my fabric stash, the more I realize how much fabric I have. Alright, oh, and my cat, Gato. Sorry, my cat's trying to sneak into an area she's not allowed. Gato, come here. Gato, come on. My cat is such a troublemaker, and she's been very jealous when I've been doing shows or, like, interviewing people. I think she's mad because I'm not paying attention to her. You know, but whatever. I think she'll get over it. All right, she's coming up now. All right, you probably won't see her in the shop, but she's here. All right, my cat's in the building. But yeah, this has been a lot of fun, and I'm probably going to sign off pretty soon. All right, I just found out you're supposed to thread all machines with the presser foot up before. You know, I've done both. I guess it works. You know, it works for me. I don't know if you're supposed to do it or not. Probably not. You know, who knows? But yeah, I was surprised at how much fun I had at a 1-year-old's birthday party. I thought it was a really neat party. All right, Sherry has a recommendation for Girl Charlie knits. Okay, so you're a fan. So if someone out there has bought fabrics from Girl Charlie, let us know what you think. Okay, I do like my cat too, but she can be very, very demanding. And actually, she's right here. Come on. She just wants to sit on my lap. She likes to put her tail in my face, because that's what she does. And yesterday I was heating up a ham, and she was really hitting me up for some food. But she can't eat any meat. We've tried to give her small quantities of meat in the past, and she throws up. So probably not a good thing for your cat. So she's not really allowed to do. All right, here she is. All right. Oh, Gato. All right. You guys are interested. I will. All right, let's should I give my cat an appearance on the show? We'll see. I don't know. Here we go. All right, this is the cat. This is what she does all day long. She wants to get her hair all over me. And she just wants to sit here and pretty much, like, demand all your attention. Oh, thanks, cat. All right. Yeah, now she's trying to put her tail in my face. That's great. Oh yeah, there's even cat hair on the microphone. I have to brush her, like, every week because she's shedding so much. I know, cat. I know, Gato cat. Here we go. So yes, guest appearance from Gato. All right, she's putting her butt in my face. That's wonderful. Thank you. See, if you have a cat, cats need raw meat or their kidneys will suffer. You know, we've been feeding her this diet, like we've been feeding her food for senior cats. But yeah, the food she wanted last night, she definitely was not going to get. It was spiral sliced ham that was already pre-cooked, so she was definitely not getting. Unfortunately, she was not going to get any of that. I figured that was probably not good for her. I know, Gato. All right, so she likes to get in the way, and you know, I don't know. She feels like she needs to be part of everything. She doesn't like being left out. And I think she gets really weird about me talking. Like, she sees me, like, talking to the computer and doesn't know what it is. So I think she's a little jealous. I'm serious. She's very jealous. Oh, she's saying kiss it. Yeah, she's saying kiss my butt here. Yeah, that's pretty much what she does. But anyways, guys, this has been a great conversation. I think have you sewed anything for your cat? You know, I have not, mostly because I feel like my cat would not appreciate I don't think she would appreciate my craftsmanship. You know, she would just sort of like, be like, whatever, you know? I don't know, maybe. I thought about making her like a little bow tie, but my husband didn't really like that idea, so we will see. But anyways, guys, this has been a great conversation. I'm going to sign off and, try to work on my little mini dollhouse that you see in the back. And hopefully there'll be a video on that soon if I can ever finish it. This thing is seriously taking me forever. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos on these things, and they seemed cool. But actually doing them is very, very time consuming. So we will see. Yeah. I share sushi with my cat. Does the cat what kind of sushi is it? I didn't know cats would eat sushi. I don't know. I don't think Gata would eat sushi. I don't know. She just wants to eat meat mostly. All right, all right, Gato. There she is. So she's just sitting here. She literally likes to put her tail in your face, and she will also knock things over with her tail just because she can, because she's trying to be a jerk. I know. All right. She very much likes to monopolize your attention. That's her main goal in life, I think, is to eat and make sure that she gets 100% attention all the time. That's pretty much her main goal, I think, in life. But guys, this has been fun. I will see you next week. And again, I want to thank our sponsor, Terial Magic, for making this show possible. Maybe I'll do more of these in the future. I don't know, but I was just so grateful and so thankful that this company has decided to support this little channel here. So I will see you guys next week. I hope you have a great Super Bowl Sunday. Whatever team you're rooting for, I'm not rooting for anyone. I'm from Buffalo. Clearly Buffalo does not know much about winning Super Bowls, which is sad. You know, we went to a lot of depressing Super Bowls when I was a kid, just Super Bowl parties when I was a kid. And, everyone was pretty unhappy at the end of the night. So that's what I remember about Super Bowls, is just the disappointment from being a Bills fan. I don't know. But it is what it is. I feel pretty neutral about football. I enjoy Super Bowl. I enjoy Super Bowl food. I like chicken wings. I like dip. That's all good. But I'm personally not like much of a... I have never... In full disclosure, I've never really paid attention to a football game, like, ever. I've been to a couple high school football games, and I think I went to, like, 5 minutes of, like, a college football game once. So I'm really not the person to ask about football. And the funny thing is, when I worked in news, whenever something happened with anybody involved in football or, like, a football-related story, I had to Google it. Like, that's what you do. Like, if it's a topic or a person you don't know about, you just Google them. You're like, who is this person? I remember once also trying to write a web story about sports, and my news director was like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. So yeah, anyways, if you are watching the Super Bowl, have a safe evening. Have a fun and safe evening. Hopefully your team, whatever team you're rooting for, it prevails. I did hear there's going to be an interesting halftime show with like Justin Timberlake and like a Prince hologram. I don't know what that's all about. But it sounds like it'll be an interesting show for sure. So Gato and I will be here hanging. Buffalo 68. Oh boy. Oh, thanks, cat. And my cat is just trying to get in the microphone now. But you guys have a great Sunday, and I will see you all next week. Everybody have a good one.